is a draw.
Ricochet clinches a spot in the semifinals.
If you come at the king, you best not miss.
Acknowledge us.
Hey guys, we here at the Red Carpet Ring. We'll talk about which show was amazing for the week. We're talking about NXT versus AEW Dynamite for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, 12/24 and 12/25. Which holiday show shined the most? We gonna talk more about this as we get into the ring. Get the lights as we come in. Now, this is a new format. I'm doing video only. We're talking about NXT viewership. And we're going to talk about AEW viewership, just like I did on the live form, but we're going to do it more video style now. Let's look over the results here. It said after drawing less than 700,000, NXT pulled in 708,000 last week. But for this week, when they did pull in the Christmas episode, this week the numbers came out to 723,000 with 0.14 in the key 1849 demographic. And it was good because they maintained the increase because they do have NXT New Year Evil on the horizon. That is January 7th. The main highlights of the show were Trick Williams, Obafemi, Eddie Thorpe all got into a brawl. Obafemi, that boy looked strong holding the NXT title in the air. But it was definitely a good show. There were other good shows, but this sets up for now. It is a triple threat match between Trick, Oba, and Eddie. It was originally one-on-one of Trick and Obafemi, but now it's became a triple threat match. And there's also, we had a Christmas Carol four-way match. No one contender for the NXT Tag Team Championships, which OTM did win out of the mud. So we'll hear more about the stuff here.
I do, man. It was I was actually rocking with Mello at the time, and used to come out to his music, and people was chanting, "Whoop that trick, whoop that trick." I didn't know exactly what that meant. You know what I mean? We was heels at the time, and I was like, "Are they with?" I looked at Mello. I said, "Yo, they with us or they against us?" I don't know. And then, you know, I hit a move or something, got a body slam, and whoop that trick. I said, oh, "Okay, I think they like this." You know what I mean? And then those whoop that trick chants, it was started by the crowd. It just continued to grow and grow and grow.
Yeah, totally organic.
It was totally organic, you know what I mean? But I think it really took off when they changed my entrance music. This is something else I'm not sure if people know, but, you know, I went to, you know, production team and said, "Hey, I would like to change my music. I want to go with Family Ties, Kendrick Lamar. You know, I want heavy horns in the beginning. I need, you know, 808 drums, you know, and heavy bass, you know what I mean?" And it came back to me with this instrumental that I have now. I was like, yeah, that's the one right there.
And was the intention that people could chant "Whoop that trick" over your theme?
Never. Like, you know, it was a beautiful organic moment. The day it was, I believe it was Heat Wave against Ilya Dragunov, if I'm not mistaken. I came out, it was a heated feud. And when the beat dropped, the people was right there on beat with it, "Whoop that trick." And if you look at my face a little bit, you see a little smirk. I'm like, oh shoot, we just started something. Yeah. And then we went out there and had a banger match. And I think that's the day Whoop That Trick went to a whole nother level. And shout out to the NXT crowd, man. There's nothing like them.
Well, they all look forward to your entrance now, because it's a moment for obviously you to shine, but also for them to be interactive in it.
For sure. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, me just being, when I was a fan, when I used to just watch the product, the entrance always meant so much to me. Like, I used to love that Stone Cold glass break. And I'll hear the pop from the crowd. To me, like, I was engaged 100% right from there. You know, The Rock. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, and he'd come out his walk, and he'd be spitting, and he'd be talking to the crowd, and he'd be doing this, and all that, like, I'm like, man, like, that interest means so much. So I always had an idea of what I wanted the reception to be to my entrance, and it just organically fell into place.
That entrance would be a really good one to hear at the Royal Rumble.
Oh, man. Hey, look, I think we all want that.
But imagine that. Everybody would know, too. So then you'd have the entire, man, that's going to be what, 50, 60, 70,000 people in Indianapolis.
70, 80, however many we can get in there.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to fill it out.
Whoop that trick.
Whoop that trick.
Man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And also, why we talk about Whoop That Trick. Chris, you seen the movie Hustle and Flow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, way back in the day, probably 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, based out of Memphis. And I believe that's where the chant really started from. But before then, there's a rapper. His name's Al Capone. And he wrote the original song, Whoop That Trick. And once he saw it was blowing up with WWE, he reached out to me. And he said, hey, man, I love what you're doing with the Whoop That Trick, man. Just so you know, I'm 100% behind you. And, you know, he even sent me merch and everything like that. So I just want to take this moment to say, thank you, Al Capone. You're a real one. And whoop that trick, dog.
Man, maybe you guys could collaborate on a song.
Man, look, I'm a rapper now.
I
You might as
know.
well do it.
There's a lot of diss tracks that are just like comical and funny and like, you know, poking shots at the other person. This is like a real song.
It's a real song.
No, Trick Williams and Chris Van Fleet. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite viewership. See how their numbers did. Now, they Dynamite on 34th Street at the Hammerstein Ballroom, New York City. Now, they talked about, of course, Toni Storm making her debut, her new character, Jon Moxley. Let's see how they did for the week. They did 574,000, an 8% decrease from last week, 625,000 from the Holiday Bash episode. It was a 0.18 demographic, you know. And also, they getting ready for Fight for the Fallen special, the simulcast on TBS and Max January 1st. Now, this is the match card. You had Darby Allin, Ricochet, Shelton Benjamin, Okada. You had other matches here set up for that tournament. Then we had Daniel Garcia, Kyle Fletcher, Tony, Taya Valkyrie, other stuff. These are the highlights of that particular show, AEW Dynamite. So they had some good moments here and there, but they did not get over 600,000. Even though this was on Christmas Day, I thought they would have pulled it a little bit more. So AEW did not. They decreased numbers this week.
So when you leave WWE, you've got options, right?
Yeah.
So you could do the boxing thing like you're talking about.
MMA.
You can go back MMA, you can go back to TNA,
Yeah.
or you can go to AEW.
Yeah.
Why did AEW make the most sense?
Well, so I have a good friend that was working with AEW before, Dan Lambert. He was American Top Team. He was in AEW for a while, living out his fantasy. Dan's
Getting mega heat.
mega heat. Dan's one of my favorite people in this world. He helped manage me through fighting and everything like that. Has always been just a great friend. First and foremost. And I talked to Dan and we kind of discussed different options. And I asked him about Tony because I didn't know. You don't know anything about Tony if you don't know him. So I was like, oh, what about this Tony guy? And a lot of things that he told me about him, I was just like, I can respect that. He said, you know, he's got kind of like a little personality like you in a sense where he goes out of his way to be nice to people. He really he's a genuine person. He told me pros and cons and I was like, man, I'd love to be able to meet him. But at this time I was talking to MVP and I was talking to Sheldon and we were like, let's run this back. Let's run the group back. Let's do it. We have that option. You know, we're all out at this time. So let's see if we can go and do this the right way.
Especially
No, even though Dynamite tried everything they could to put on a great show, NXT's clearly still the better show. It shows in the ratings. NXT pulled, I believe, 723, and AEW pulled 585. So they got to step up their numbers if they want to continue on. We're going to the new year, and we got the simulcast with them with Max. NXT still doing their thing on CW, so they really have to get it together if they want to keep putting on a great product. They just had World's End, and that is another story for another day. It was okay, but could have been better. But that's all I have regarding which show was amazing for the week, which holiday show shined the most. You guys let me know what you think of NXT versus AEW Dynamite. Soon to videos will pop up, guys. You guys click the link below. Until then, guys, you already know what it is. It's OUT.